Why, hello everybody. I decided to make technically it'll be two videos of just my thoughts on this year's E3 2019. I know last year when I made the whole what I look forward to, and then I was actually planning on making a video talking about the conferences, but this year I'm actually going to do it where it's going to be two videos. The first one's going to be covering EA, Xbox, and Nintendo, and the second video is going to be covering Bethesda, Square Enix, and Ubisoft. I'm not going to cover the PC gaming show one because that's literally just a bunch of companies being like, hey, add us to your wish list because it's coming to early access or it's going to be launched. So it's pointless in my opinion. But for the very first one, EA, I really didn't like, they didn't even really try. I'm glad that they didn't because they know last year it was just it was literally just a conference towards their investors, so it was really pointless for them if they had bothered to actually do another conference, and instead they just made a conference, technically an EA Play thing stream where people could be in person because of the play event going on the entire, like, I don't know if it was all of E3 or just the first couple of days of E3. I have no idea. I just know that it was the show itself, because it was only 4 or 5 games, because there was Star Wars The Fallen Order, I believe Madden 20, I believe, and then Sims, and like, I didn't even watch most of it either. That's why I didn't really care. I don't remember if they did FIFA at all, but I was really only interested in the Fallen Order. I doubt there's going to be any multiplayer. If there is, I'll be surprised, but I really was glad to see the gameplay demo. I didn't watch the entire thing. I literally came in on the stream and they were running it. I'm like, okay. It basically is very similar to the Force Unleashed titles, which I can't wait to play it, if that's the point, definitely. And yeah, I guess they're going to be making it a part of the whole universe, as like, oh, it's in part of the timeline because it has the one guy that was in Rogue One that ended up dying anyway. But of course, it takes place during. It takes place after Episode 3, when, of course, the Jedi are supposedly fallen, but of course, he's supposed to be incognito. That's why I was very surprised that they showed him fighting. I'm like, I would think that they would, like, if anything, I'm surprised they didn't just do, like, 2 minutes of him being incognito in his regular self, and then the rest of the time was all the fighting. Instead, they just decided to have everything the fighting for that one entire story demo. The only thing I wasn't really interested, but like, I was surprised that it took this long for Sims to get a vacation retreat type of pack that is literally, oh, go on an island and either have a vacation or you can live there. I'm like, okay. I would think that would have been in there at least a couple years by now into The Sims, but I guess now they finally felt like doing it, including mermaids and all that. It's just funny though, because like, they have the ocean, and the entire thing, I was watching it with the streamer and whatnot, and they, as well as I, literally just thought you could easily drown your Sims or any Sims by just I guarantee you can just spawn something in to surround them and completely kill them that easily. Like, why would you introduce the ocean is beyond me. But oh well. But yeah, because of what it was like, I'd say that EA was more or less a 4 or 5 out of 10. Definitely, it was not that impressive at all, which it wasn't surprising since last year was not that great either. So, as for Xbox, for announcements wise, it was nice. for if you wanted to see gameplay, it was not great. It was only like the only times there was ever gameplay was literally mostly indie titles that they actually did gameplay. It was mostly just a bunch of companies actually deciding just, hey, here's our announcement trailer, or here's our cinematic trailer where we don't have any actual gameplay. It's like, are you kidding me? But in general, they did announce the next console like they did for the Xbox One X, where they did Project Scorpio. This one's Project Scarlet, which everyone already knew the name Scarlet based off of patents that they've done. But of course, it launches next holiday 2020, alongside Halo Infinite, which will be 2020, which they show the cinematic for that. And it's apparently Scarlet's, as far as they can tell for the specs, it's going to be basically, you're going to be paying for a surprisingly low cost PC that's really high end, supposedly. But it's going to be, I got the notes and everything right here. Custom design processor leveraging the latest Zen 2 and Radeon RDNA architecture from AMD, and then they paired high bandwidth GDDR6 memory and a next gen solid state drive featuring hardware accelerated ray tracing, variable refresh rates, and AK compatibility and ultra low latency input, which I'd be surprised if they were actually put it for sale for anything less than $500, because if you actually look up the cost of an SSD to begin with, even for just a PC to begin with, that's over $100. Especially, like, I guarantee they're going to be like, it's best to probably buy an external. Because I'm like, I don't know, are they going to try to do a 500 gig SSD? Like, I have, like, with the storage size and everything, they're going to probably be like, we suggest you buy an external, because yes, games run fast and everything, but we couldn't get the price to be any better. As well as the fact that, like, the AK compatibility, I'm sure, as well as everyone is guessing, that it's going to be just for streaming stuff and video. It won't be gaming related, because games these days literally can hardly go 4K. We're not at that point, but it's all for future proofing after all. And then who knows how the ray tracing is going to get involved, seeing as how it's ray tracing. Like, it looks great for some little games and everything, but we're not at that point yet where, hey, we can just pop ray tracing in every single game. No, it takes time to put that stuff into play. You know what I mean? But my cost, I basically say that it's about $500 to $700. I'm sure, if they're being smart. If it's higher than that, then, and PS4 is the exact same thing. If you search that up, it's going to be about the same cost because of the same similar specs. It's just insane. But I don't know if I'll do more details about Project Scarlet in the future. Who knows what the actual name is going to be? I have no idea. I just know they made such a big thing of, oh, because of how powerful it'll be, we're going to try to make Xbox One reverse compatible so that, like, it's still continuously going, because it's like, for the most part, you should be able to run Xbox One games. It's why the 360, they purposely did a reverse compatibility for 360, because it ran Xbox Live anyway, so just run an emulator through Xbox Live and you're all good. But they did speak more about xCloud and how you can use your Xbox console as an xCloud server in waves starting in October of this year for free with no further details, stupidly, because they showed the Xbox One X for that announcement, but they need to actually tell us, is my base Xbox One 500 gig edition, is that actually going to be able to stream games? Like, because I actually want to test that out to see how well it is compared to my capture card. I have no idea. But they also did announce the Xbox Elite Controller Series 2, which has 30 new and improved features, like the whole sticks and changeable trigger buttons and an actual rechargeable battery, like for that lasts for 40 hours. Very stupid that they didn't have that beforehand, but that's coming out November 4th for $180, which makes sense. But that also, they also have it, one of the features that you can actually connect it to both the Xbox One and PC. And supposedly in an interview, Phil Spencer did say that you'll be able to hook that up to Project Scarlet, that they're going to try to do that, which is the plan, which is good. Hopefully we can also, like, I would imagine with the amount of different Xbox One controllers compared to the 360, which they weren't crazy with the controllers at the time, but the Xbox One, I would imagine most of the controllers that have the Bluetooth connectivity, I would think that they would want to be able to support that longer, but who knows. But as for the games, I was most interested. They did do 60 different games shown in it, but the ones I'm interested in are Battletoads, because it's a if you guys know Battletoads, the simple like 3-player co-op experience, which I've only played the one that I don't know if there was multiple or not, but I played the one that was on the Rare Replay. I finished it, I believe, or finished one level of it. I forget. Or no, I did finish the experience, but it was just with my sister-in-law. Just we were playing it one night, and it was a long, but there's also Bleeding Edge, which is a third-person action combat with online team multiplayer, which I believe that's the one is that with the ninjas. I think, I don't know, but Borderlands 3, which they need. Which I definitely want to play that. I just need to play the past games, which I still need to do. Then there's Crossfire X, which was just a cinematic and no gameplay shown. Cyberpunk 2077, which was great to see the actual more cinematic stuff. If I remember correctly, I don't think they actually did any new gameplay, but they had shown Keanu Reeves. Technically, gameplay-wise, I will say they did show cutscenes from in the game, so it's not like it was all cinematic. The showing of Reeves, I'm sure, was cinematic, but for the most part, it was basically a decision type of cutscene. So, yeah. But there's also Dying Light 2, which I gotta finish the first one. Then Gears 5, which I need to actually replay the fourth title because I haven't played that in over a year. And so when I was watching that cutscene that they showed for it, I'm like, I don't even remember the ending of 4. Like, I remember them going to a village, but I don't remember like what that ending was, other than like they must, I don't know. But of course, Halo Infinite, which they only bothered to show cinematic, which who knows if that's going to be actually included in the game, because just look at the announcement that they did for Halo 5 where Master Chief was in the desert with the cloak, and yet that was never in the game. So who knows if the cinematic they showed in Halo Infinite, because I can tell it's definitely probably in engine, but who knows if it has anything to do with the actual game, especially since he went on the original Halo again, or installation, whatever. But yeah, we need to see gameplay, which I'm sure we'll probably end up seeing in a year for the next E3 at the very least. And then they got Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, which does include the 9th movie, so they definitely got the script at least. I would imagine they got the script early. But I need to actually, because I've only ever played the Sega Complete Sega, I believe, on the PS2 as well as my DS, but I need to actually replay it on the 360 because I got a free games gold. I just haven't bothered to play it, as well as the animated what was it, Clone Wars game. I never played that, so I need to play them finally. And then there's the Minecraft Dungeons game, which I'm glad that game literally you can't really do cutscenes with, because I think last year when they did announce it, they tried to do a cutscene, but like, yeah, I think they did. But this one, they actually showed the gameplay, which was nice, which I may play someday if it's on sale. And then there was Spiritfarer. Oh wait, wasn't that the what looked like a Disney game? Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what, right. Yeah, I probably will end up getting that if it's on a deal. But then there was State of Decay 2 DLC that included that. I'm guessing it's you get to either help or you get to experience the two different DLC characters with their storylines. I don't know. I haven't even finished this first State of Decay, so I need to do that. But then there was the Outer Worlds that was shown, which they kind of did it gameplay in a way. Like, it still looks great, but obviously the closer it gets to launch, we really need to get it. But and then there was 12 minutes, which hopefully it is longer than what the trailer was, which it's basically a guy and it's stuck in a time loop of 12 minutes, and you get to go through multiple different realities. I bet that it will be around $15 to $20 because of how short, like, if it's literally stuck in the same area the entire time, it's probably going to be just a $15 to $20 game, I'm sure. But Wasteland 3, I don't know, but I just know obviously need to see more gameplay of it. So then we have Way to the Woods, which is an interesting wildlife perspective with no people, because it's basically you're following a deer and I think it's children in basically, I remember Last of Us, they did show wildlife, but it's that perspective of they're literally roaming around areas trying to get back into a natural forest, because I'm sure they probably woke up one day and like, oh shit, there's no humans around or anything, and everything is literally broken. So it definitely, I want to play that. But that in general is basically all that was said about the Xbox conference, which I would definitely rate it 7 out of 10. Nothing is 10 out of 10, that's for sure, because not crazy amount of stuff was shown at all. But then, last but not least for this video is Nintendo's Direct, which I wasn't even crazy about to begin with because I was hoping for a price cut and never saw a price cut. So the only thing I really wanted to see was Ultimate Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3, which was meh, because after all it's running off on a actual tablet, so they didn't have to work crazy hard to get the graphics to look good. But it literally is what you expect. There's going to be a lot of heroes. Like, it's funny that they were like very into the trailer for showing it. They're like, oh yeah, it's going to include the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and I think it was the Marvel Knights or whatever they're called. I forget, something Knights, but Space Knights or something, I don't know. But those, I guess, are either going to be future DLC or it's going to be free. I don't know. I just know that Direct basically showed a lot of Japanese games because after all, they're a Japanese company. But until there's a price cut or until I find a simple either brand new or used version of the Switch for around $200, that's when how I got my PS4. Until that happens, I'm not going to get a Switch because I'm not paying $300 and then having, like, unless there's a bundle of like 2 games that are $300, then I'll do it. But Black Friday didn't have that, so I just really do not want to buy something that's $300 and then buy a couple games that makes it over $400. So yeah. I will definitely have to see another year of them actually cutting the price finally, whenever that'll be. But that's why I rate Nintendo's Direct 5 out of 10, because it was, if you watched it, it's literally just constant, oh, here's a port, here's a port, here's a port, and hey, here's this game that we're promising in the future. But in general, these conferences, the EA, well, actually, no, technically, I won't say EA, trying to think. I think, if I remember, yeah, Star Wars is technically coming out in November, but most of the games that were shown across all 3 conferences aren't coming out until either is immediately this fall, or they're not coming out until literally spring 2020, because which even then, who knows, with all these like 2020 release dates in the spring, Who knows if any of them will be actually available in the very beginning, like, or should say if their like state will be fine, it won't need a giant update. That'll suck. But I thank everyone for watching. Tell me what you liked in the EA, Xbox, and Nintendo's conferences, and be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed my thoughts, and subscribe if you want to see if you want to know when the next video will go live, as well as I've been streaming a lot on Twitch, and yeah, follow me on Twitter as well, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.